Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to this RGL.GG Week 3 matchup of Froyotech versus Cat Noises. Froyotech currently the second place team against Cat Noises, the first place team. And there's a reason why they're the first place team, as they are the reigning champions of RGL Prolander. Last season, Season 5 winners, coming up against Froyotech, who have reformed for this sixth season with a little bit of a new roster, and they have not been looking as strong as they have been in the past, but they are slowly getting better as they are learning to play with each other. But Cat Noises, on the other hand, they have been very dominant over the first 2 weeks, and I'm very curious to see, as these old rivals come together on the map of Borneo, who is going to be coming out on top. I am Sigafu, joined out here with Flair to my side and Dolphin behind the scenes. How you doing out here, Flair?
I'm doing fantastic, Sukufu. How about you?
I am always doing good, especially when I get to see a little Froyotech Cat Noises action. Like, that makes me, like, put on hold whatever's going on today. I'm going to go sit and watch this game if I can, because you just know that both of these teams are going to bring it. No matter, it doesn't even matter, like, what's on the line. You know both of these teams are really going to be gunning for each other, because I know how badly, Cat Noises, Def is always so good at putting in his effort and trying hard and doing just different new ideas that he's bringing to it. These teams also are fighting it out inside of the no restriction sixes. I kind of have joked, Froyotech as well as like Cat Noises are kind of going for like the triple crown of RGL, both of them kind of duking it out for Prolander, no restriction sixes, and Highlander, trying to win every single league. But yeah, I'm doing good today is the long answer. And I don't know, Flair. So you have casted me with a little bit here before, but as we're kind of looking at these rosters, I mean, who are some of the players that we should be looking out for here tonight? I mean, I know there's a lot of obvious ones, but why don't you maybe grab a couple and you can talk about what you know about them?
All right, let's get the obvious ones out of the way. Banny and Nursey, obviously, just reigning kings of TF2, king and queen, I should say, perhaps. Banny just on the top no matter where he goes. And Habib next to him, usually see Habib on demos where he's most famous on sixes, but he plays a killer soldier too, and both in Highlander and Prolander. So the Froyotech players definitely got that massive star power behind them. But on the side of Cat Noises, we've got Speedy, Mirror Man, both of them excellent flank players. Jarrett as a solid demo man who won for Irene during Season 1, and he just put out a stellar performance that game. And as well, Fallen Lord, just on an absolute god at sniper, so we should definitely see some killer headshots coming out from him. And Carson, certainly not as huge a name as the others, but he's one of the absolute best heavy players in the game, and he's certainly no slouch on all the other classes too. And just honestly, despite the fact that I'm pulling out the biggest players here, none of these players on either roster are particularly weak. We're just looking to see an absolutely stellar game going on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's both sides have their strengths and weaknesses. I think the sniper battle is going to be favoring, Cat Noises, as they have Fallen Lord. Yosh, I'm assuming he's going to be playing sniper for Froyotech. He's, formerly a very top level sniper back in the day, but he hasn't really played nearly as much as he, has played in the past. So going to be very curious to see that. Whenever it comes to a payload map, you want to try to use your sniper as much as possible. And while Borneo is a generally sniper friendly map, it's definitely not bad, but there are definitely some points, that I would argue that are not as good, such as like the third point. It can be a little bit awkward. Like, obviously you can get coverage on different areas, but you can't really snipe aggressively. You can only really snipe once they kind of push into you. And then on the final point as well, it's kind of the same thing where it's like you can't really do much. And so I'm really curious to see, Borneo, I think, does offer some more versatility with off-classing that is possible, where, maybe some classes that you're used to seeing aren't as useful, on defense in particular. And even on offense, running an engineer, for instance, can be very useful, because there are a couple points where you have some long walking that you have to do to get to that next point, and maybe that teleporter is worth it, as these teams do have 7 ready to go, and we're just kind of waiting around for them. We'll take a quick moment here to say, if you thank you. Actually, we're getting started up here, so in the final 60 seconds as we get into setup time, if you guys are watching this on Twitch, thank you. Don't forget to follow us to get notified whenever we go live. And if you have a Twitch Prime sub, feel free to toss it out at us. Help support the prize pool, help support production by giving us that little extra donation in the form of Twitch Prime. But what classes are you seeing out here for Cat Noises on defense?
Interestingly, no sniper on this first offense. I know you said Cat Noises, but that's actually the first thing I gravitated to. Oh, never mind. Right as I say that, Yosh back on it. So but on this defense here, Just a medic, a heavy, a pyro, just, you know, really standard defensive classes. No scout, no soldier, surprisingly, so they don't look like they're wanting to exert... Oh, a soldier. I'm a bit of an idiot, sorry. But, yeah, no scout. And, what's that last missing class? Hard to tell. I think it's a spy. Was he?
Yes,
yeah,
no
he
spy,
was
no
just...
scout.
Right, that would explain it. Speedy was just hitting that spy, checking their classes at spawn, and then he swapped over to soldier. So, yeah, a little slow on the upkeep, sorry. But, you know... It's what you get when your people are swapping around in Prolander.
Well, and this is what it comes down to. Cat Noise, this is a very common... They're kind of the teams to kind of... I wouldn't say necessarily invent this style, but it's really... They've made it their own. They really do not run the scout on defense. Sometimes they do. It kind of depends on the moment, but here we go. Froyotech, they are walking out here. No engineer and no spy starting out on offense. Speedy using that cow mangler, holding down that right click to get some extra firepower as Garbuglio on heavy is working his way up here, as well as Yosh walking up on that far left-hand side, trying to find something, but the sniper for Fallen, where is he right now? I don't even see him on screen, as Jarrett gets taken out by a headshot from Yosh, so no demo man, that is going to put a hamper on Cat Noise's defense.
Yeah, without that demo man, they're really not going to be able to contest that corner where the tracks climbs up the hill, and just looks like Froyotech's really just gonna be able to climb up that hill and start spamming them out. So that demo man kill early, killing off Jared, is just gonna be a huge thorn in the side of Cat Noise. They're gonna have to back up a little bit and try to play this defense a little more passively.
Yeah, kind of question awful Fallen's positioning as Froyotech is trying to work their way in here. Yosh does take down Fallen just now, so no sniper here. He can peek as aggressive as he wants, though it's not that useful as everybody's hiding around the corner. Froyotech is trying to figure out how... I think they want to try to push this without using Ubercharge, but they're going to use it, focusing a lot of damage onto the gun. The gun is going to get picked up with 1 HP. As it gets pulled back, Daffodil's going to use it in kind onto the Pyro, trying to push forward. There's no Pyro to reflect him back. Actually, Ash is falling back just a little bit lower as Jared's back to the front line now. And here we go. The soldier jumping in onto the sniper, gets him down pretty low, but he will be able to live. Froyotech, a lot of low heals on the players, and they're going to get shut down here. That was a really awkward push coming out of Froyotech.
Yeah, they really held off on... Cat Noise really held off on using that Uber. It looked like Froyotech came in and popped that Uber just a little too early. They could have milked it a little longer and made that much more of an even trade, but with Cat Noise just being able to milk that Uber just long enough, they managed to get a lot more cleanup on that Uber, especially on that Pyro, just holding mouse 1 and holding W.
And both teams trade out their demolands. Jared died a little bit to the sticky trap as Habib goes down from a sniper of Fallen. And so that's going to, but, you know, he's also back up. I mean, both of them are back up right now, but you get the faster respawn being on offense here. But Froyotech, they just need to get a little bit aggressive. They're getting stuffed here by Cat Noises, and they really, I mean, they've been getting picks. They do what they need to do, but I feel like they just need to be more aggressive with their Uber charges rather than trying to take them down cart path, but just run in with players. Try to get frags with it, I guess.
And right as you say that, Habib, right, walking in, just like you said, just walking in, but it looks like he gets heavily denied, mostly just because they have their heavy and their demo man on side. Cat Noise just sitting on top of that staircase and watching that. And I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that Cat Noise is just really relying on Speedy on that soldier and having Jared on that demo man just shooting down that corner and spamming as much explosives as possible. So Froyotech really don't feel comfortable taking space.
And currently the defense does not have either explosive class, and so here we go as they try to walk in here. We'll see what they want to do. Looks like they're just going to go down the cart path. They have 100% ready to go. They take down the heavy on the cart, but here comes out the Pyro. The Ubercharge is going to be used out on either side. Slightly better for the red team here, as he's going to be able to not get much. Jarrett's probably going to go down with 3 players down on the defense. It looks like Froyotech will finally take the first point. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. That's terrible.
Yeah, for a first offense, that's definitely really slow. You don't want to get that kind of slow, but you can see how the strategy of Cat Noise is running just both explosive class and spamming down that corner really paying off. But looks like with them dropping 4 players early on that first defense, they're actually not getting set up quickly enough when they're retreating back to second. And now with Carson, just Garbuglio actually, no, it was Carson eating a sandwich, but he gets run down without any support from his team. It's Jarrett and Daffodil looking like they have to pull back into that lobby area and maybe retreat to third a little earlier.
And we see Speedy trying to make a play as well as with Meerman. Actually, what? They're putting up a defense. I thought this was all but lost, but wow, Froyotech with 4 players down, and that's going to allow Cat Noises to get back in here. I'm just surprised. I mean, you know, that's a nice thing about this second point is that you have the respawn very close to be able to kind of run out and defend it pretty quickly, which is a little bit unusual for, you know, the second point of maps. But here we go, Cat Noises. They're going to have a chance to defend this, as both teams do have 100% Uber ready to go. But I guess it's just a question of how do they want to use this? Right now, the Cat Noises, they're not holding inside of corn. They're kind of passively in corn, but a lot of people on cart path. Kind of an interesting hold style.
Yeah, certainly. I think it maybe comes down to the fact that they're not running a scout or a spy, so they don't really have the intel they need to be able to efficiently run a defense. So instead of playing in that tight area of corn, they'd like to pull back, play a little more on top of point where they can actually see what's going on. But, you know, you can see that because they're giving up corn now. It looks like Froyo is actually just taking corn, looking like they're ready to walk through it, and Mirrorman and Daft just holding right behind it, ready to counter this, but both sides just taking a little passively. Oh, Habib coming in, looking like they're about ready to use the Uber. Nurse's popping on Habib, and Mirrorman's just taking their Uber, defensively stuffing them, and looks like Habib's not actually going to be able to get anything as he gets chased down by this power, but Mirrorman goes down. Habib saved by Banny on this push.
And this is now looking good. Habib coming around the other side, takes down the Medic. Fallen Lord eating a lot of damage, but here comes in Speedy from below. He takes down the Medic, looking for Ash, going for the melee. Ash going down pretty low, but now it's just a sentry gun. One engineer, one gun, and yeah, he's just going to leave that, as that will eventually go down there. Just a really weird hold style. Ash is going to... No, he's not going to die on the cart because he has the heals from the cart as he ate a flare there from Mirrorman. But it was like one of those things where it just seems like Cat Noise is getting oddly aggressive at weird times. Like Jarrett suicided in just for the sniper early on in that fight. I'm just not really sure what they're doing. I think, you know, Cat Noises, they have to be more, you know, precious of their life. You know, they're just being a little bit too aggro at times. But we'll see what they can do as we come into this third point. 5 minutes and 24 seconds, very solid time so far in this map.
Yeah, certainly, and I think with Cat Noise's strategy, when they're taking their defensive Ubers, looks like they commit just a little too hard, and you can see that with Mirrorman getting cleaned up by Banny as he attempted to go for Habib, and Jared, of course, like you mentioned, jumping in for a very strange reason, looking like you want to get that sniper, but, I mean, when you're on defense, you really need to watch your life, because you got a long respawn, and you're not going to be able to come back to that fight as quickly as perhaps you'd like. So now both teams just standing off at this side door here. Looks like... Oh, Yosh actually getting an initial pick on Pyro. Merman going down. Looks like this is actually going to be able to crack this open just a little bit now. Froyotech's just edging this card forward as Yosh tries to get a little bigger peek in, and no one's denying the sniper as he just wide peeks into house through just below that sentry, and Habib and Nursey taking a big Uber through the top right, and Nursey backing out early though, and this Uber looking to go in the favor of Cat Noises, but they are losing ground, unfortunately, as Garblugio's just walking in, cleaning people up, as Daft and Jared both going down. Speedy coming in, trying to get as much as he can off of that loss, but Nursey stays alive.
That was so close from Cat Noises to be able to hold down there, but the medic got popped up, going down pretty low, nice up there. As this card is going to go down of the third point, we see Carson holding aggressively here, and they're going to take down a couple, but they're not going to be able to get like a kind of second or, you know, third and a half hold here. But that will give it enough time for Cat Noises to try to get defense on the last point, as we see Demento building just outside spawn, try to get a little bit faster. But as Nursery's coming up to 82% here, actually it looks like Froyotech, they're just walking in the right-hand side because no one from Cat Noises is over there right now. Finally, the respawns are coming up. They're going to have a chance to defend this as Froyotech's op's going to back out, but with the 50% advantage, you got to imagine they know that, and they're going to be pushing very soon.
Absolutely, and with Nursey's legendary Uber counting abilities, looks like they're ready to just start walking in here. Habib going all over on that really far side of the map. They're looking like they want to take this in on Habib and Banny combined. Banny actually taking that initial Uber, and now they're running into this sentry as it's being wrangled, and Jacob doing his absolute best to keep the sentry alive, knowing that this sentry is the linchpin of their defense. But Banny walking in, getting cleaned up finally by that Wrangler, and Garblugio doesn't look like he's feeling comfortable taking any space, so it looks like they actually rebuffed this Uber without spending any of their own. Now they have their own full Uber advantage to hold on to this last point to.
Wow, what a play coming out of Demento, and what a mistake coming out of Froyotech not taking down the gun. As Speedy, he's going for the melee kill on the heavy. He isn't able to get it there, as that gun went down to 1 HP. It actually might die here just from the spam of Zilly from that far right-hand side. But I mean, that's just, the Deadline was the only person shooting the gun. He put down like 3 stickies underneath of it, but you know, when you have the Wrangler up, it just soaks up so much damage. You really need multiple players to take that down. See, I feel like that's one of the things that's been going wrong with the Froyotech pushes, is it's been like 1, maybe 2 players, and just really haven't been doing a lot with it. Speedy should get taken out here, getting a little bit aggressive on the cart, as Demento is down, so is the sentry gun, and so you can see Froyotech trying to work in on that far left-hand side and getting a lot of capture time.
Yeah, exactly, and without, it looks like just with, they realize Cat Noise now is just playing these Ubers a little too aggressively, but when they don't have an Uber to overcommit on, right, this Uber's coming in actually, as Mirrorman's just walking at this heavy with that Uber, and Nursey's being forced to back all the way up, but that cart has been edged right up to the edge of that pit, and Dav actually getting a huge kill. Oh no, oh. this Cart's right up at the edge, though. They're gonna have Cat Noise is gonna have to commit hard, and now it looks like they're doing exactly that, sitting Carson on that point, just ready to deny any pushes, because this Borneo, you can easily get capped by a spy. You have to watch your back here.
Yeah, but Froyotech currently not running a spy, so they're taking away that option, which I think is a bit of a mistake, because as soon as you kill Carson, like, you can spy cap that card very easily during the fight. But we'll see what they can do. Carson eating some damage from Zilly on that far side. Ash putting down a Cinch Gun that's going to get taken down early inside of main. Currently, Froyotech, they do have that Uber bench, and here we go. Speedy jumping in. He's going to force off Nerdy very early on in the fight, but how well can Cat Noises kite this? Carson's going to go down the card. His fan's going to jump on it, but he gets traded out very early. No capture time being set on the card, but the heavy takes down just 2 players left alive. They're going to need a miracle here, but it's not going to be enough. Demento is going to drop down, put down the Cinch Gun. He's going to go down almost certainly here, as he had mini sentries and a rescue ranger. Maybe wasn't thinking too quickly there, but 10 minutes and 9 seconds. Very solid defense coming out there from Cat Noises, but a majority of that, almost half of that time, coming off the first point alone.
And we can see just the Cat Noise's defensive prowess just coming in and holding off Froyotech for a pretty good time, 10 minutes. Looking like Froy really just got in on those pushes off of Cat Noise's mistakes, unfortunately, because you could see that on that last push, they didn't seem to want to hold Carson on point, or sorry, not hold, but, you know, tank Carson on point or anything. It looks like Carson just fed to that Uber, even though Nursey popped and got forced really early. Cat Noises just did not have an answer to that. They didn't back out. They sat in and just ate damage. So surprising mistakes coming in, but we'll definitely see how this offense comes in from Cat Noises. See if they play that a little better.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see what they do. Froyotech here on defense, they are going to opt to not run a scout as well. That's surprising. Banny on Pyro. So it looks like Froyotech's taking a page out of the Cat Noises playbook, and they're going to not run a scout on defense, which is very surprising. I feel like Banny, I'm kind of curious to see if he's going to hold on to those, or if he's going to rage switch.
Is Banny going off to that house? No, he's
coming back. He looks like he wanted to hold over there, but I feel like you need to. I thought Cat Noises kind of playstyle where they played very conservatively. Like, they played so far back in house that it really kind of made it awkward to push. I've never really seen that playstyle before, but Yosh bringing out an early headshot onto Mirrorman. Carl rolling up here. Fallen, though, takes down Zilly, so you can see the spawn differences. Zilly down for 14. Mirrorman was only down for 7 as Carson working his way up here. Yosh going down. No sniper here for Froyotech.
And we can see just the importance of having your demo man just spam out this corner, as Carson's actually just coming right up this hill, actually getting so much damage off and pressuring them. You'd think with having Habib just spam stickies there, it'd be a lot easier, but it looks like he's not very happy going out there. Maybe just with the pressure from Fallen Lord, Habib does not want to push this. And finally, Jarrett's getting tanked over here, looking like they're ready to take a push, but oh dear, Speedy's just getting forced back a little here. But finally, Froyotech actually looks like they don't want to contest this corner, as Carson and Habib just walking straight up. Habib sitting on that, Jarrett sitting on that point, and Carson just content as they take this Uber finally onto Cart, looking like demo on demo Uber, and just surprisingly very little happening. Both sides just not soaking up any damage, but yeah, looking like Cat Noise is actually getting the better end of this deal, as they're getting a lot of cart time. Jacob rushing in for kills, not getting capped, but Speedy's very diligent on that cart, and finally Jacob sitting on it. First point goes to Cat Noises.
Yeah, Cat Noise doing a great job putting their flex classes onto the cart, kind of posting it up, having the heavy with the big damage. Mirrorman from behind takes down Nursey, and that's a nice pick there. Nursey down for 17, and now all of Froyotech is captured behind. Here comes up the flog play from Banny. The overpowered weapon, can Banny use it to its most powerful effect? Nope, he walks into a sticky trap. Takes down Jared in the process, though. But currently, Habib is still stuck behind with Zilly, with that level 1 Cinch Gun, but Yosh is going to bring out a headshot onto Daffodil, so Cat Noises, they looked pretty strong there, but they kind of played a little bit too cheeky, and they didn't try to clean up the rest of the classes from Froyotech, and that's ultimately going to hurt them, as the cart didn't get any further forward, and they lost their Uber advantage.
Yeah, exactly. It was strange. Cat Noises just seemed like they wanted to walk a little too far forward, instead of cleaning up the rest of the players like Habib and Zilly over in-house, where they could have just, denied those players their quicker spawns. But instead, they seem to sit around and get killed by Yosh and just other weird, strange things that is really going to hamper their offense, as it allows Froyo to set up much better defense in Corn than they otherwise would have. Strange position, actually, coming out from Ash's Sentry Gun, as he puts it on lower instead of in Corn. Maybe he just wants to build it in peace without getting spammed, but that's an interesting position, certainly.
I mean, it doesn't cover cart. If you trust your team, that does cover any sort of flanks, kind of, I guess. We'll see if he's going to move it up, as Daffodil did go down about 20 seconds ago from another snipe, back-to-back deaths to Yosh, and so that is why you see Nursey currently with that 50% advantage as we are coming out here. And so with these teams there, it looks like Cat Noises, and this is what, if I was Cat Noises, I'd be just putting everybody on cart. Don't fight Corn. Fight cart, especially with the sentry gun being in lower. There's zero reason to try to contest Corn. Just literally put everybody on cart, force Froyotech to have to deal with you in that way. But they're trying to get fragged right now, and they need more capture time. And look at this, Speedy, uncontested on cart.
Yeah, exactly. And that's,
he's gonna get it.
Oh, wow, no, absolutely no pressure coming out. Oh, Banny on that flog, finally coming by, getting the frag on Speedy. But yeah, that's textbook example of why you put that sentry in. Over in Corn is now an Uber coming out in Nursey defensively as they're pushing Habib out, trying to get as many frags as possible, but Habib getting cleaned up. Daff not even using their Uber, but you can see Yosh finally repositioning over to Cart, looking like he's ready to defend this, but he gets jumped by Mirrorman. Mirrorman now sitting on point. Is anyone going to be able to come over and deal with him? Nursey actually looking like she's having to come over because no one else deals with it. Mirrorman caps the point, finally getting chased down by Zilly, and Garbugo picking up Mirrorman, but Nursey coming back to defend gets cleaned up by Speedy, as Speedy also gets tagged the second kill on Garbuglio, and the rest of Froyo just seems like they're stuck over in Corn. Ash all the way behind, not in any position to set up a gun or any kind of defense on third, as it looks like Cat Noises just had one banger of a push into second.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you commit everybody to Corn. It's kind of what we saw actually last week out of PWR, where they kept trying to fight for Corn rather than fight for the cart. And that is exactly what Cat Noises needed to do. They did it perfectly. They played well in Froyotech. They made a mistake. They committed everybody to one side of the map, but unfortunately, that's not where the objective is, you know, and so it ultimately kind of works against them. So Cat Noises rolling in here to the third point. 5 minutes, 30 seconds is, we'll see what they can do with this right now. Carson trying to work on that far right-hand side, but you can see Froyotech, everybody's bunched up in the middle, and on the top right, nobody is playing over on that left-hand side too much. I guess Habib's finally going to rotate over, but we'll see how Cat Noises wants to place. They have Uber advantage, and there they're going with Jarrett.
Oh, and his Sentry, poor Sentry, didn't even manage to live a full life before Jarrett and Speedy just running in on it and rolling all over. And you can see that Rio just not feeling very happy with this third. They're playing all the way back in yard, not even contesting that garage or that farmhouse, whatever you'd like to call it. So looks like Cat Noise is just very happy to sit on top of this high ground and deny Furrio any kind of third defense. As Speedy just sitting there with that ×2 on cart, completely uncontested. Fallen Lord going down to Yosh, though, is looks like an Uber coming in from Banny and Nursey. Banny trying to fight this upper area, but Nursey looking like she doesn't want to follow Banny in, so Banny getting dropped, and Nursey actually getting chased down to 7 health. Merman cleans him up, and Speedy gets them as the entirety of Furry just crumbles, and Yosh is forced to back up with Garbuglio.
Froyotech, I bet you they went into that Uber charge and like, oh, guess what? We're going to kill everybody. We have Uber advantage. They're all caught up, but Cat Noises did a great job. They kind of expanded out, tried to kite that Uber, and then as soon as it ended, they collapsed it straight on top of them in multiple ways. Froyotech just a little bit uncoordinated with that Uber charge, not able to secure the frags, maybe not enough focus fire when it comes to it. 4 minutes and 6 seconds, that's plenty of time here to push on to this final point. ×3 up here as they're rolling it forward, and it'll be very curious to see what they want to do. Even Ubers right now, as Demento is up on Pyro right now, so no Spy as well as no Engineer here for the offense. And on the defense, they are playing in Engineer, so they do have a Scout as well, so no Pyro, which I think might work against them potentially, as they won't be able to stuff any Ubers coming in here.
Certainly, I know I, for one, was ready to see more of that Banny flog, but it looks like, you know, we're not going to get our wishes tonight. But this Uber actually coming out, playing very close, it looks like they want to do, with just on this far right-hand side. Nursey playing really, really aggressively with Garbuglio on that right side, but it looks like Habib's only just making his way over. But, oh, dear, Yosh goes for the wide peek and drops Daff with just an instant headshot. It's just going to hamper that push of Cat Noises significantly.
They just need to go in right now. They just need to make plays. They do take down the far right-hand side. Tap's going to get back up. Jarrett's going to go down to a snipe. Yosh, who's hard scoping on that main area, but I mean, that just shows you why you need to have coverage on every single angle. You know, Cat Noises, they kind of kept peeking angles, and they would kind of fall back to play around main, and like, you need to make sure you shut down any angles. Like, if anybody was watching that far side, Daff wouldn't drop there 100% of the time. Like, he would be alive right now. They'd have Uber charge in. So now, with 2 minutes left here, 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, Cat Noises, they're taking way too much time to try to make plays. They're going to take down Zilly as they lose 2 in the process here. But, I mean, I feel like, I don't want to say Spy's the right play, but They just need to get something together. They need to work in maybe the right-hand side, work in fall in on that right-hand side, try to find a snipe onto some of the Froyo players who are playing on the left. But just, they need to do something, and right now they literally have done nothing. They've wasted away 2 minutes of the clock right now with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm looking like they're just wanting to play off Ubers, but considering you got a lot more players to work with than just your standard 6-6, you actually have a lot of room to just send players forward and try to get something to happen, especially with Jacob sitting with a level 3 over on main, so you know you have that sentry to fall back to. It's not like you have too much to worry about, but it does look like Daff and Jared are looking to make their way into this hallway, and there's a sticky trap right over it, as neither of them are too happy to push in, but Jared's checking that Sticky's getting dead, and so Jared looking to walk in with Daff right now, slowly making their way, pressuring this ever so slowly, coming in. Finally the Super coming out trading in this hallway, but it looks like they're not actually body blocking Garbugio as he just walks forward into this hallway in this straight up solo versus solo, but looking like neither side particularly got much off during the actual Uber, but yeah,
Gun goes down.
Gun goes down. Cat Noises actually finally has a lot more ground to play with, as Carson just walks right through that hallway and cleans up Garbugio. And oh dear, Carson, is he gonna get that frag? He kills Banny. No way, you're not dodging this minigun today, sir. And finally, just Carson's ready to walk right in here, bully anyone who tries to stop him, but finally goes down to Habib, as Jared playing on that cart, looking like he wants to pressure this gun as much as possible. They don't want to let any more sentries get up, and just Daff and Jared playing down on this ground here. Speedy and Mirrorman both jumping in, trying to get as much as they can to happen on top, but this cart time just keeps going forward. Speedy not going down quite yet. 4 players going down. Oh no, just absolute carnage on this. I don't even know what's going on. Daff finally pulling back, surviving on 50 health, and this final push so close. Not quite able to get it together. 40 seconds left. Cat Noises have to put it together.
How did Froyotech hold on to that absolutely insane defense coming up here? Mirrorman now on spy, but Garbugio did catch that. He went off cart. There's nobody on cart right now. Benny's going to drop down onto cart. They need to defend. There's 20 seconds left on the clock here. Last-ditch effort here for Cat Noises. They're walking in the far right-hand side.
Hey, they're running into spy. Mirrorman's coming in. They're looking like they're ready to do that.
Yeah, they're going to see what they can do. Down. Oh, on the cart. Demento's on the cart. No, uncontested. Benny runs in. He's going to try to defend it, but into Habib. He gets the shot. Now it's the Engineer. 8 seconds left, but no! Daffodil just in time as the medic was dropping down onto it. Literal seconds between defeats as Cat Noises is going to take the first round. Absolutely insane first round in what is sure to be a great match as we continue on here.
Oh, what an absolute monster of a match. Just that just total carnage on that last Uber push, as Froyotech just barely holding on. Nursey getting a frag, able to hold on to that last point, and then Cat Noises clutching it together as they come right back in to cap with about, what, 3 seconds left? Just absolutely insane. No, just Prolander at his finest, certainly.
I mean, the thing that's really, really crazy to me is that, like, if the Engineer almost saved, like, if he just was alive a little bit longer, or if the medic had a second, like, it was unlikely that they had the defense. Like, they just needed, like, one player to make one play. Like, literally, if any Froyotech player made a play there at the end, it would have worked out for them. But let's take a look at these logs here. And the one storyline is, I was talking about how Yosh might be a little bit washed up, but he's not, apparently. He is not washed up, because he's looking fantastic. 29 frags, almost double the closest on anybody else on the server, which is 18, which is also insane about how well Cat Noises had such a great defense when they had Yosh kind of pushing down onto them. Froyotech actually had 14 more frags, despite the loss. And what did they have damage? They had 14 more frags and 6,000 more damage, and they lost. And I think that just really shows you that, Froyotech is probably the stronger team overall, but Cat Noises is a little bit more coordinated, and they also understand how to play the map a little bit better. Froyotech easily could have had a better time there. Probably should have won that first map, honestly. But Cat Noise is ultimately coming out there. But what are you seeing in the logs yourself?
I mean, you're absolutely right with that, Yosh. Not only did he pull off that insane stat line, he got some of the most clutch picks possible. He broke open that first defense initially. Like, he got that pick onto Jarrett, which opened up the first push for them a little more. Froyo kind of beefed a little bit on that push, but then Yosh also on defense had that sick drop on Daff as he just wide peeked over through the hallway side, which really delayed that push. Definitely crucial for Froyo getting as far as they did. But other than that, another interesting stat is Daff is actually the only one to drop. Both teams very much interested in tanking their heavy. Carson actually getting a full 28% heals over Jarrett's 21%. So definitely But definitely necessary because Carson just clutching it out over that last as he got so much extra cap time when they were pushing into the last. And just another interesting stat line is you can see Fallen Lord, despite the fact that he's definitely, I don't know, Yosh just won that sniper fight hands down, despite the fact that you'd think he's a little more washed up.
Well, and the thing that I want to point out too is like I think one of the reasons that the heavy Carson for Cat Noises had more heals than Jared is in part also because Jared was just dying all the time in really dumb ways. Like Jarrett was just a little bit hyper aggressive at awkward times, and I don't really know what some of his bombs that he made in were. But he had 18 deaths compared to Habib's. I believe that's Habib on demo. Yeah, Habib with 10 deaths, so almost half the deaths for Habib. Despite what did they put out? Actually, that's the thing is Jarrett did put out more DPM, which is the crazy part. Is like he died more often, but he put out more damage, which is kind of crazy to think like I can die 6 more times than you. I'm dead for like a full like 3 minutes longer than you, but my DPM is still going to be higher than yours. And so, it's just like one of these kind of crazy stat lines. And just think if Jarrett did not die nearly as much. I mean, maybe that's why he's getting that extra damage, because he's putting himself into kind of some bad spots to kind of eke out a little bit more damage. But I feel like that was one of the things that, Froyotech, they just were able to roll pretty well through the defense after the first point, in part because, the players for Cat Noises were just dying a little bit too much. Like, as much as they won that first round, Cat Noises defense after the first point was not great. And I really hope they kind of look to figure out how they can figure that out if they want to try to win this game, because else I feel like Froyotech is just going to kind of fix their mistakes and kind of continue on here. But I don't know, I mean, is there any kind of, what are your kind of thoughts after that first round, that first half? Like, I mean, do you think Cat Noise is going to take it, or do you think Froyotech's going to come back?
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards Froyotech getting this second round. Looks like they'll understand a bit more of how Cat Noise wanted to play this and definitely capitalize a little more off Cat Noise mistakes. Maybe make a few mistakes of their own. I'd say, it's interesting you pointed out that Cat Noise had a stellar first defense, but then started to crumble just a little more. It looks like just because Cat Noise is taking these defenses not passively enough, maybe just a little too hyper aggressively. And so as a result, just on a lot of those post Ubers, you could see Jarrett or Mirrorman, who was playing Pyro for pretty much the entirety of that defense, just continuing to walk forward as their Uber fades. And so they're just losing out on those post-Uber fights. And despite the fact that Furrier almost always got forced to early or used really early, they just couldn't get those. The Cat Noises just really couldn't follow up on those. They just kept walking forward and feeding their players. And as we start out the second round, just time to check out how they do this again.
Yeah, and also note that Demento, who is subbing in there for Cat Noises, is now out, and Spamfest is in. And so with that then, we can see here Spamfest now on offense. So Cat Noises, they're going to be setting the offensive time. Froyotech running the Crits Demo Man on offense here to kind of get out some sticky traps kind of in some random places. And you'll see Nursey run back to spawn to switch back to Ubercharge. But you can see Banny, as I said, I didn't think he was going to continue to play Pyro. It's one of those things, too, where I feel like a lot of players are like, he played Flog Pyro, I think in part, because I think some players are like, oh, well, like, Flog Pyro is so overpowered, it's so easy to use, yada, 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 yada. And, like, how many Flog plays did he make? None at all. Like, he got hammered every single time. It's like, as much as Flog definitely does take less skill when you're like running WM1 to other people, it does take some skill to understand the game sense and awareness to be able to make great plays. So, but we'll see what they're going to do here. Is Yosh backing up on the sniper class? We'll see what they're going to do here as Cat Noise is running an engineer on offense at the first point, which is not surprising, I guess, given that you have Spamfest.
Spamfest definitely a well-known NG player. Looking like they just want to stick on this car and get as much presence as possible because Carson's alone on that grassy path, and Jared actually going wide, playing over at house, and not even bringing their medic out. Daft's just sitting pretty over in spawn, looking like they just want to take this a little slow, while Froyo just camping over in that house, not willing.
Yosh down.
Yosh going down instantly. Carson, interesting that they even let Carson up there, as Habib finally feeling like he's ready to take a bit more space off of Yosh's death, despite the fact that it's his own team. Maybe he's feeling like, oh, my sniper's down. Guess it's my job. But right as I say that, Habib finally going down to Fallen Lord as they're ready to take this. No sniper, no demo. Cat Noise is just rolling in on this cart. But surprisingly, Froyo feeling very happy to just sit here and maybe hold on to this and eke out precious more seconds of defense. Not sure this is the right move.
Yeah, Yosh is back up. He's got the sightline on the carpet. The Ubercharge is going to come out just in time. Garbuglio down so incredibly low here. Might die in the post-Uber fight. The Ubercharge is going to be slightly better for the red side, but here they go. They're trying to contest this card. 2 players currently down. Jerky, a lot of capture time. Froyotech is trying to contest it, but it's just Banny alone. He should finally get taken out there as Habib's going to finally come up with the reinforcement here. We'll see what they can do. Mirman's going to jump on cart. He's going to run into Habib. Going to go down as Spamfest has a very aggressive sentry gun or teleporter. And he's going to get taken out instantly, but this card's so close. This is where I think a spy play might be worthwhile just to get that capture time, kind of that surprise, you know, because look at how close it is. Just a little bit of touching. And
Hey, look at where that telly is. That telly exit. Spamfest brain. Just right on top of that card.
Speedy. Ooh. Not going to be able to do it, so yeah, we'll see what they're going to do. But Froyotech is having a very solid first defense. His passive first hold is seeming to be working out for both teams.
Yeah, it's interesting because this passive hold seems to work really well in Prolander. Looking like those 2 fewer players allows just for 2 fewer players from Highlander just allows them to sit on top of that card instead of a little forward. You know, maybe without nearly as much fear of being backcapped. But finally, Catnoid is making it in, looking like they just sideswiped that cart with their Pyro and capped it, and now Froyo finally backing out here. But yeah, it's interesting how much better that works, this passive hold, than it does in Highlander, just because when you're not concerned about, say, a soldier jumping in on top of you or a spy backcapping you or just some silly little things that having all 9 classes constantly happens, you can make a couple more interesting plays, certainly.
Yeah, Jarrett going on the behind the scenes. He takes down the sentry gun, though I don't know how useful that is for his team because it was, again, completely behind the lines. The cart is not moving forward whatsoever. Froyotech did not learn from last time, it seems like, I guess they do have their soldier roaming a little bit more on the right-hand side to be able to kind of cover this cart, but everybody else from Froyotech is sitting inside of Corn, essentially. And so we'll see what they're going to do with that. Cat Noise is working their way up here. 100% charge on either side. Mirman goes down as Yosh on an 8K right now. I mean, this is also one of those things, too, where it's like, if a sniper doesn't have a spy to harass him, you know, it's one of those things where you can feel a little bit more comfortable. If you know where the enemy sniper is, you can just play out of his sight lines as aggressively as you want. As Cat Noises, they're just pushing down cart path, and they're doing a great job of it. Oh no, Daft gets dropped to Beeb with the flank, puts a sticky underneath the feet, hits the pipe, and doesn't even give a chance to Daft to pop there. And oh, disaster. But the cart is getting ever so closer.
Yeah, I think maybe there was a mistake to put all of their players over on tracks that way without having any more eyes watching towards Corn. So Cat Noise is definitely getting a lot more cart pressure, especially because that gun, again, for the second round in a row, is all the way down on lower and not watching that cart. But, you know, even so, they just left that Corn angle wide open for Habib to just walk right in and drop Daft. But Speedy looking like he wants to just get more cart time off of this because there's nothing contesting him. He finally takes taking a 1v1 with Banny getting the better end of that. So finally, Jared and Carson both making their way onto tracks. But Yosh, over lower under the protection of Sentry Gun, looks like he wants to get this really tight angle. But meeting scope to scope from Fallen Lord, neither of them hitting the shot. But finally, Yosh backing out, looking like he's not quite happy with taking that duel. Just, yep, like you said, just wants to play out of the sight line, not worry about it too much. But Jarrett walking up on this tracks, nothing to contest him, and Mirrorman as they just walk in, gets so much cart time essentially for free without any response at all from Froyo as they walk in. Froyo just do not care about the card apparently, not one bit.
Well, they're running, you know, they're heavy, or the only thing protecting the cart was the scout as well as the soldier, as the Ubercharge is going to be used out here on Yosh. Well, he's going to try to go for a miracle shot onto Daffodil, but they're going to opt to back out. Now, Nursey's actually caught in here, almost certainly, with the close range headshot coming out onto Mirrorman. Jarrett onto Nursey. Who's going to win this 1v1? Nursey juking, dodging, still alive. It's going to be healed up. Nursey will finally go down, delays her death that much more, but did get a decent respawn wave, only 10 seconds down, as Zilly's going to come in here to clean up one frag, and Banny's still forward, ultimately trades out his life. And with those two going down, that's not the worst in the world. I guess Zilly did get out, as the card has a ways to go to get to this third point here. It looks like Froyotech, they're going to try to do a little bit of a 2.5 hold. No, they're going to just back up here, but it looks like Zilly's going to try to hold forward a little bit. No, he's going back as well. So right now, we'll see what Froyotech is going to do. 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Solid time here. A little, like, about average. Not going as fast as the first round. But we'll see how they go into this third point with this 100% Uber advantage.
Indeed, as they're looking like they just want to stack cart here, not take this too quickly. But I'm thinking, you know, I'm certainly more interested in seeing if Daft wants to take this a little more aggressively, make some space for those cart pushers. But Barrett and Daft seem content at the moment to just sit back, finally walking over into that right-hand hallway side, looking like they're just walking under stickies, popping a little early, and they're bringing Speedy on this Uber as Jared just walking up, looking once he want to contest that sentry. But as everyone, the entirety of Froyo just backs out, looks like they don't want to take that fight. So they're playing over in yard, but Habib coming in trying to clean up on Carson, but Carson's just wrecking. Carson destroying as he's running out, finally cleaned up by Garbuglio. Mirrorman getting the force off on Nursi as Nursi trying to save Garbuglio over there. So they finally actually do manage to hold on to this this garage hold, unlike the first round where they just seemed to play really passively. But yeah, just interesting strats. Cat Noise getting the better end of the initial Uber, but not managing to hold on after it. But Nursi does go down to Spamfest. And yeah, Cat Noise is reasserting their hold over this entire garage. But Habib just sitting in the front. He kills off Daff and making an even trade. Looking like both medics about to come up more or less the same. No, Nursi.
Crazy plays coming out from either side there. You thought that Froyotech would have that third hold after a great kiting of the Uber against them. Now Froyotech only has 3 players alive right now, but the cart's so far away. They should be able to have it back up in time. Only Zilly is really going to matter here. So it's going to give a slight numbers advantage to Cat Noises. But the biggest thing here is they have, so it's 7 minutes through the first 3 points. This is where they struggled last time. They were way too passive early on here. But Yosh is down for 15 seconds here. So we got to work in Fallen as much as you can. He's not going to get counter-sniped, but you just have to protect his forward ground. But Froyotech's not letting that happen to rotate everybody over to contest this. Ash goes down in the process, but it makes it a 5v5 fight. Yosh is just getting back up forward right now. And so, despite having that sniper advantage, they were not able to utilize it. Froyotech doing a great job adjusting and pressuring out Cat Noises to not be comfortable.
And one of the big plays, just before Yosh went down, he actually managed to pick off Jared. Jared trying his best to walk in a little early, grab as much ground as possible before Froyo get their spawns, but Yosh actually shutting that down, such that even when he was down for that defense, Cat Noise just did not have a demo man to come in and supply the damage they needed for them to take any ground. So now they're coming back up here with a little bit of a reset as they're taking in an Uber through that hallway. Garbuglio all the way back on that hallway. They don't really want to contest this too far forward, but yeah, Jared finally leading this Uber as they're walking around this corner. The sticks are dead, and the Uber is popped. Both of them trading out over here. Habib trying to get as much ground as possible. But this is a little bit of a messy trade as neither of them want to take too much pot. And looks like Cat Noise just want to back out of this a little bit and not drop any players. But Carson nearly dropping. Yosh actually getting a cross-map snipe onto Daff. And Jared's just trying to get as much cleanup as possible, but Carson goes down. Jared's alone, like 10 health, getting cleaned up again by another headshot from Yosh. And Mirrorman getting picked off by that sentry to... Oh, just that push totally denied by Froyo.
Yeah, he is doing some crazy work here. And right now, as we come in here, the one thing that I would like to see out of Cat Noise is, I mean, I always love talking about Spy, but I just feel like Froyotech's playing really off the cart. And I feel like you could kind of sneak in like 3 seconds here, 4 seconds here, you know, get that cart just a little bit closer, kind of in these off Uber areas to kind of do what you can. The engineer's going to suicide on the cart there, running into a sticky trap. Jared's coming down this far side. You're getting some damage down to Gun as it's getting healed back up. Here comes in Zilly. Zilly easily gets cleaned up there. And Fallen's trying to get worked in that far left-hand angle, but he's not able to see anything right now. But Habib goes down. So 5v5 fight. Fallen's down right now as well, so no one to contest Yosh. But what can they do with this? It doesn't seem like much, as Yosh knows where they're trying to push from, and he's holding that angle.
Cat Noise is looking like they're starting to... The fear of Yosh is setting in just a little bit. They're not ready to come in and contest the sightline quite as eagerly as they were earlier. Coming in, he's just a little behind. Looking like maybe Speedy wants to target Yosh as he's sitting ready, decloaking. Is he going to go for Habib? No, he gets spotted out, backs up, and looks like, you know, betting on that spy. Not quite working out, but Speedy maybe wanting to... getting bumped by Banny.
That's unfortunate for
the
him.
life of a spy. And, Jared dying. This push is going to be denied again.
Gosh, Yosh just going ham this game. Fallen getting pushed back. Carson... It just, I mean, it really just seems like if they can kill Yosh and get some ground off this, but the thing is if they can push on the far right-hand side, look at how Froyotech's playing this. They're playing so passively. They're playing everybody very far back, and that's kind of good. That allows them to rotate very easily. It's really Banny who's just kind of running back and forth like a little dog trying to chase the ball across the street, but here we go, and look at how much ground. Jarrett's getting in here. There you go, Nursey. Oh my god, Nursey down to 26 HP. The Ubercharge is going to be better, 30% better there, as Nursey is getting ready to go back at his spawn. Garbubio is trying to push it back, but I don't think Cat Noises realized how much better Ubercharge they had. The gun goes down, 3 players down here for Froyotech, and this might be it. They're going to do what they can. The Pyro goes down, 3 players up here. Garbubio is trying to get some damage down with the car, but it won't be enough. 10 minutes and 48 seconds. That is about 40 seconds longer than last time. Froyotech set, so Cat Noises with a very solid push there at the end, but once again, the thing that he did is he utilizes the passive position out of Froyotech. They got a lot of ground, forced off the Uber to get the advantage, and then made plays off of it, and I feel like that's what they need to do, you know, to punish the defensive team, is like push where they are not. I mean, it sounds so simple, and it sounds so dumb to say, but basically just take the free ground that the enemy takes you, and Cat Noises was just playing a little bit too scared. They're trying to push too much into that right-hand side when they could have pushed into the left a little bit earlier.
Exactly, yeah, and when you don't have that sniper sitting in that hallway locking that down, you can just walk a demo man as far as you'd like before they take the Uber in. And just, you know, quick shout out on that last Uber. Speedy and Mirrorman, you know, we had eyes over on that Uber as much as possible, but Speedy and Mirrorman actually come in on that far right-hand side and cleaning up, just while that Uber was being exchanged and no frags were coming out that side, just the flank of Cat Noises just getting as much done as possible so that they were in a good position to take a 7 versus 5 on that post Uber. So, you know, actually I think the MVPs of that last push definitely Speedy and Mirrorman.
I also want to point out there that Fallen only had 3 frags in that entire round. That entire offense, that's really, really pitiful. So hopefully Fallen Lord's able to get it back up, kind of get his head back into the game. But if this continues, I would suggest maybe you're just running a spy on offense rather than a sniper, if that's the kind of frags you're going to be pulling down. At least you're going to get a little bit more frags a little bit more consistently than that. But Ash up on spy here for Froyotech as he's running around. I think he's on Inviswatch. Yosh taking down Speedy, getting another frag here. As it looks like Froyotech taking their time, working that card up as Ash is being himself into position.
Yeah, just looking like the fear of God is being set in for Cat Noise. They're not happy with how Yosh is just completely shutting them down. So finally, picking him off in this early, trying to remove that little X factor from Froyo, but Habib's just walking forward with that space that
Ash.
Josh getting a Ash. Pick off Daff actually dying. No Uber here. And that sentry gun getting sapped initially, but now, oh dear, how is Cat Noise going to be able to hold on to this without that Uber? Looks like with this, Froyo's just going to be happy to just walk in with their own Uber, but looking like Cat Noise is actually still happy to sit here and hold this on for their dear life. This Banny and Zilly just both holding up on that patio, that platform there, just spamming that gun out early. You don't need to commit anything, no Uber needed, just a little bit of spam, and it looks like Cat Noise is all ready to back out all the way to second. Ash just cracking that first, wide open for Froyotech's first offense.
Carson's holding aggressively here. He wants to get a force onto Nursey, going down to 100 HP. Actually does get the force on Nursey. I'm kind of surprised. I thought she might be able to hold on, and here we go. Habib going for the miracle play. Will be able to land it. Daff, oh my god, I think he ate 1 pipe there, but now it's a second. And so he will be able to hold on to his life, 50% Uber advantage in his favor. But that's just it. It's like running that spy play, you know, it really can work out in your favor if the other team is not expecting it. And Daphne wasn't even doing any spy checking whatsoever. It's Froyotech. They're not going to run a spy. And so dropped on Uber, and that's going to give Froyotech a very quick time through the first point. Looks like 9 minutes left on the clock, and no, look at a suicide wave come in, but Carson denying everything, but Froyotech still pushing forward. Speedy picks up 1, but Mirrorman with the Uber charge, there's no pyro to defend this. They're going in, and they're cleaning up everybody. Oh my goodness, it's just going to be Garbuvio left forward, and he's going to go down. Yosh is going to go for a miracle snipe. He takes down Mirrorman. Daff's going to be able to keep his life and keep that Uber advantage, but that is the brilliance, is when you have the pyro and the enemy team doesn't. WM1 is a very effective strategy then.
Exactly. It's interesting again. Cat Noise is no, not Cat Noise. Froyotech making what seems like the Cat Noise's mistake on first, looking like they were committing just a little too much, so that when Daff finally popping that Uber and going in with Mirrorman on that pyro, they just walk forward, and Froyotech in no position to kite. They're just getting eaten by that pyro. But Nursey going down yet again. So Daff is going to have a very, very pretty Uber advantage, and Banny just trying to get as much as he can on the cart while the rest of his teammates are dead, but he gets cleaned up by Carson. So looking like some chain feeding going on the side of Froyo.
Yeah, they're trying to make plays. Banny at least keeping that card a little bit forward. I mean, even if he dies, his respawn's not that far out from the rest of his team. And, you know, always want to get a little bit closer. But you can see the difference. Cat Noises, they're actually giving up corn this time around. They're actually playing very passive. And so you see, look at Habib. He's getting so much ground just sitting on cart here. They need to contest him to stop him from doing this. But look at Froyotech. They're just putting out so much damage, forcing Jarrett back down to 61 HP. They need to contest. Bandy on cart. Here comes up the overcharge. It's going to be once again on Mirman, running down onto Nursey. And the bomb comes in as well. The soldier taking him out. Habib's going to get taken down as well. But oh no! Bandy from behind. They were so focused on getting frags that they didn't focus on the objective. Daffodil gets taken out on the back end as well from Banny, who was back on the cart. Not only did he get the cap, but he got the medic frag. 7 minutes left on the clock, and what could have been a very solid defense coming out of Cat Noises falls to ruins as they're retreating back to the 3rd point.
Looking like almost amateurish mistakes coming out from Cat Noises. That cart was right there. They could have just sat there. They could have brought their heavy over to deny that scout, but instead they chased after players all the way back, and Banny just say, okay, you guys going for my teammates, I'm going for the cart. And without any answer from Cat Noises, he just gets that free cart cap, and then he runs down on top of Daff and brings it in for Nursey here. Even though Nursey not really getting any Uber at here, Nursey did go down, but still Nursey almost dropping to that Cow Mangler charge shot, but getting hit by another scorch shot as they're desperately trying to keep Nursey alive, but this scorch shot just keeps coming in. Nursey's not very happy with getting burned down. I think Nursey will end up living, but just it's a hard life as a medic.
Yeah, she's still at 50 HP, even after eating a sandwich, just from all the poke damage she's taking. Banny running just straight in onto Speedy, actually gets him down a little bit. Speedy's actually going to go down. No, Banny's not going to try to secure the kill here, but that's going to force Speedy back, and look at Habib's now going to take advantage of that as he's walking forward here. Carson on a little bit of a cute angle, and here comes the Uber charge. It's going to be focusing straight onto the gun. Spamfest is not going to pull it back in time, and Carson's going to be able to use this. Mirrorman's going to push him back, and it's going to be just a trade of Ubers. No players dying here as Yosh going down to 6 HP on the backside, but looks like Banny on the flank. Is he going to be able to get anything? Silly pushing up here. They're trying to pincer. Froyotech is, but it looks like they're working against them, but no, Garbuglio coming in over the top. 5v5, Wolfcat Noises be able to respond.
Yeah, this looking like Fro is actually just completely taking hold of this garage, but Cat Noise is trying to edge as much control over this area as they can. Jarrett and Mirrorman both on below. Jarrett going down is some spam over from Zilly, so Mirrorman looking like he has to back out too. And Fallen Lord interestingly staying in, trying to get as much defense as he can, but that gun is going up on a point from Ash. And Mirrorman on the cart chasing down Ash. Finally, a bit more control over this area being exerted by Cat Noise, and Froyotech having to give up what ground they took. I'd like to point out that last Uber, actually, when they were walking forward, Garbuglio, he ate maybe the 2 to 3 stickies on his initial push. He finally got Ubered in, they killed the sentry, and they forced him back. But on that post Uber, because they... Oh, never mind. Mirrorman,
here we go.
Detonator jumping in, chasing everyone down. Nursey going down.
He's chasing. He gets Habib as well, and Garbuglio should surely go down here. He's alone. He takes down Falling. Oh my goodness, Garbuglio! What are you doing, you madman? As he takes down everybody, he alone secured this 3rd point for what should have been an easy defense coming up from Cat Noise. What is going on here tonight in this match?
I don't even know what to tell you, Sigafu. There's just absolute carnage, just total chaos coming out from either side, from defenses that seem like they should work, just completely crumbling at the last second, and Froyotech getting the better end of that push somehow. Just looking like Cat Noise is overplaying their hand and committing too hard as they get cleaned up by Heavy that they completely ignored yet again. We can see Yosh actually working his way over on the right side, missing his shot though. Jarrett picking him off with some cleverly placed sticky traps. So yeah, Yosh not getting that X-Factor shot in this time, and Froyo walking Garbuglio over in this hallway. Jarrett not wanting to make the same mistake Froyotech did, walking forward, denying them that space in the hallway.
So let's see what they do. Speedy jumping in onto Nursey. He's got to be careful. You don't want to die in this situation, but he will do just that. 2 players down for 15 seconds here. And so that's going to give an advantage here for Froyotech as it's a 7v5 fight. Ubercharge ready to go. And so he wanted to get the force off. But we'll see what they want to do. Looks like they're going to push in from this lower hand side. Uncontested, nobody sees them. They're going to have a lot of time before they need to pop the super. Nursey is finally going to pop it up, and oh my god, Habib going down. So incredible, gets forced back. Great job using that pyro with Ubercharge. It's going to be about even as the flashing happened on either side. Both teams losing about the same amount of players. 6v6 fight. No team really gaining ground. Great job out of Cat Noises, forcing them back. Banny's probably going to get traded off here, getting caught in almost certainly. And so Cat Noise is a little bit low in health, but they are holding steady here with the help of Spamfest gun, and just great job of the pyro. But oh no, Jarrett going down here. And so we'll see if Froyotech's going to work off of that.
Yeah, just really strange Uber choice because they came in and they didn't bring anything to help them deal with that pyro, and that pyro just air blasting them off without even the use of the Uber. The Uber came all the way after they just pushed Habib all the way off, and not definitely not pressuring any side of any side angle either when they're taking that Uber in. So just Cat Noise is not needing to worry about that. Finally, a push coming in, the gun going down to spam from Habib as they're walking in through the hallway side. Nursery just tanking Habib as they're walking forward, laying down the smack on top of them. Both Ubers coming out roughly the same time. Merman coming in, looking like Merman's going to ignore the card yet again as he tries to take a 1v1 from Scarbuglo, actually winning that. But Nursery being left alone,
Nursey
being chased down by Carson on scout as he runs down and picks up the frag. Just, what is going on this match, Sigafu?
I don't know, but I love what I'm seeing. 2 minutes left in the clock here. Everything on the line for Cat Noises as it is match point in their favor. If they win this round, if they defend for 2 minutes, they're going to be walking home feeling very happy knowing that they baggled. They left 0 points on the table for Froyotech, but Froyotech, this is plenty of time to do it. 1 to 2 pushes, and we'll see what they can do. Currently about 20% advantage for Cat Noises. Jarrett alone, man on an island. Habib is going to take him out. And so 18 seconds down here for the Delman. They're trying to get really aggressive right now. Ash onto the card, but it's going to be contested. The Calmangler doesn't do anything against his Sentry Gun, so he's getting switched out. Ash, so much capture time on the card, uncontested. Froyotech walking it in, and there you go. 1-1 here as we are going to go into a golden cap.
Unbelievable TF2 coming out, Sigafu. I can't believe my eyes. It just seems like Yosh is absolutely dominating this game too, looking like he's just eating Fallen Lord alive. Fallen Lord sitting all the way at the bottom of the scoreboard, only getting edged out for bottom by Zilly. Zilly not underperforming by any means, but just, I expected Fallen Lord to do so much more this game, but looking like Yosh is just destroying.
He is. I mean, there's no other word than just destroying. That is exactly what he's doing. Fallen Lord is just not having it tonight. I mean, even on a bad day, this is a bad day for him. He's one of the best snipers in the game very consistently. But tonight, he just can't seem to get into the zone there. But I also want to talk about that last push, which kind of worked in part because Speedy was not running the Cow Mangler. And he couldn't deal with the Sentry Gun on the point. Like the Engineer, like the Soldier should always win against the Engineer. Almost always. And so the thing that it comes in here is that he ran into the Engineer and he's like, oh crap, there's a Sentry Gun. I can't do anything. And he was forced to back off there. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where it's like the small moment where the weapon choices might have gave them a chance to defend the cart, because he wouldn't have had to run back to spawn from taking so much damage. But either way, let's take a look at these logs here. I'm very curious to see what they finally came down to.
Yosh just eating everyone alive with the top fragging of 30, followed a little closely more behind than last game by Habib at 21. But Habib sitting at nearly 500 damage per minute, over on 487, only followed right behind by Jarrett. So looking like Froyo's players just coming out absolutely dominant on the stat line too. And yeah, I don't see any counter and any answer coming out from Cat Noises on the side of frags. Fallen Lord just underperforming. Jarrett doing well, but not nearly enough to make up for Habib pounding and Yosh just taking over the entirety of that game.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I mean, that's the thing is like the thing that I love about like Froyotech in the way they play is they just have 7 and they're like, let's walk forward. Like Habib's just like, let's walk forward. He does a great amount of damage. He creates space for his team and they play off of it. And that's one of the reasons Habib's getting so many frags is he's just not playing scared. Like it feels like Jarrett is trying to play aggressive at times, but his team's not supporting that aggression. And at the same time, like Habib, whenever he's aggressive, like he's got his team around him to be able to do just that. So just a really great job overall. On the Zilly, a little bit underperforming for his team. Only 7 frags. Ash on the flex class at 6, which isn't the most surprising, but Mirman doing a good job with 13 frags, getting a lot of those from the Pyro class, cleaning that up. But what's really interesting here is that last game, we saw Froyotech, they had more frags and more damage. And this is I'm going to drop a stat line on you. Can I drop a stat line on you?
Yeah, hit me with that.
Froyotech, 6,000 more damage. Once again, 2 more frags. Just think about that. 6,000 more damage, but you only get 2 more frags from that result. Like, that's really weird. Usually that's a sign that your team is not, like, you're either doing a lot of poke damage without a lot of cleanup, basically. But that doesn't really make a lot of sense for Froyotech because I feel like they're doing a good job at, like, cleaning up players at the right times. But, I mean, that's just so insane because, once again, Froyotech doing so much more damage, but like the frags are not actually that much in their favor. It's a lot closer of a game than what you really would have expected given those numbers.
Yeah, I wish I could say I had an answer for why that's the case, but this game is just utter chaos. And looking like maybe with just the extra damage coming out from Froyo's side, I think maybe they're just dying a little too quickly and not taking as many sustained fights as Cat Noises is against Froyo. And so as we're coming into this third round again, what are your predictions on this, Sigafu? This has been a stellar game so far, but who do you think is going to come up?
I just can't bet against Froyotech. Like, I just cannot see a way in which they lose. Like, so Cat Noises, if I was them, they've done a really good job on defense. Like, I feel like the only way Cat Noises is going to win this game is if they can force Froyotech to a 10-minute hold again. If they can't do a 10-minute plus hold against Froyotech, I don't think they're going to win it. And ultimately what that comes down to is they just need to play smart. They need to not lose Jared at bad times. And they just need to, like, do a little bit better at cleaning up frags. Like, they're like, I mean, both teams did the exact same thing where they would lose post-Uber fights, you know, with Garbuglio having that big, like, 3-4K, you know, on the third point there. But that's really what it comes down to. I guess if Cat Noises gets 11-minute hold or so on Froyotech, I think they'll win. But I think anything less than that, I think Froyotech takes this, and I'm going to bet on Froyotech. How about yourself, Flair, in the last 20 seconds?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Froyotech as well. It just seems like as the game goes longer and longer, and as we're entering this golden cap, Froyotech is adjusting better, while Cat Noises seem to be making a lot of the same mistakes. And yeah, I'm just going to have to go with Froyo for that simple reason. I'm not sure Cat Noises is going to be able to adapt enough.
Well, we'll see what they can do. The gates roll down here. Looks like Cat Noises, they're playing a little bit more... I mean, they're doing what they did. Jared's got to be careful not to... Oh, he ate the headshot. But fortunately, he's over 150 HP, and so he's going to be able to get back up. Spamfest has to be careful. He has this aggressive Centrigun, which is, like, okay. As Yoshi eats a pipe, he's going to have to be forced to back up, grab a sandwich, go forward. Ash, once again, on Spy. So we'll see if he can get a drop on Daffodil. But so far, no real picks, just a little bit of jostling from either side. Nobody dying so far.
And I'm interested in seeing how Fallen Lord is taking this fight. It looks like he's not playing a very aggressive angle. Looking like even he's starting to fear Yosh a little bit. He plays all the way back on tracks here, giving up so much ground to Yosh. Yosh actually pretty low back over on tracks, but even so, yeah, Fallen Lord finally getting a bit more aggressive. He takes down Banny with a quick headshot. Banny on that Pyro yet again. It's an interesting choice. I'm not sure what they're expecting to do without having Banny on Scout just sit on that cart. But yeah, looking like it's oh, Yosh getting out a big pick. And Jarrett going down. Will we see a push coming out from Habib and from Nursey as they walk through this corner, looking like they're ready to take a fight, and pushing Fallen Lord back as Garbuglio just walking around this corner, shooting that gun down as they're not even going to wrangle that gun. That gun going down instantly. Spamfest not looking like she wants to defend that as Habib just walking forward on tracks, taking forward ground on this passive angle, and he doesn't even want to let them back out of house. He's walking all the way up over on that ramp over there. Ash picking off Mirrorman too. Look, though they're not going to have a pyro defend any of this, and Dav got his Uber Force. I didn't see what that was from, but yeah, just
I think they wanted to use it on a Mirrorman to run into Nursey to get the trade and then run back out, but Mirrorman died in the process, and so this is going to force it back out. I think Spamfest just a little bit too aggro with the gun. I think, you know, I don't know if Cat Noises kind of told him, like, hey, by the way, we've been doing this passive hold style, and it's been working out really well, because Spamfest playing that aggro style as Ash on Spy takes down Fallen, so there you go. That's not going to be a sniper here for a little bit, but Froyotech, they're losing players in the process, so Cat Noises should have a chance to defend this 6 seconds for a few more of their key players. Passive sentry gun up here right now as Ash still on Spy. He's getting himself around the corner. Not a lot of Spy checking coming out from Mirrorman. He's focusing more on the getting out the detonators and whatnot, so we'll see what they can do with this, but Carson is on the opposite side, 100% ready to go for Nursey. They want to go forward with this, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't try to take this fight a lot earlier, but Habib just dropping Nursey, looking like she got launched into the air by something, not able to connect with Habib, and so Habib just dropping down. And yeah, just Daft can hold on with that as much as he wants, and looks like, who's that? Banny's running behind with the power jack on a little quest, getting shot by a rescue ranger. Spamfest coming around, cleaning that up, but that was, what even happened there? They wanted to take that Uber in, and Nursey just getting skyboxed and losing Habib. Losing that connection with Habib, and that Uber just getting totally denied.
Yeah, it's a really nice job. I think it was a sticky trap, I assume, that launched Nursey up, but that was a little bit of a rare circumstance. But they gotta be careful right now as they have nobody playing in Corn. So right now you can see Zilly on that far hand side getting a lot of free damage. Zilly getting the better of the 1v1 against Speedy, who jumped in just a little bit poorly timed, unfortunately. And so with Carson playing back over here, like, I'd like to see Carson get over into Corn if he could. But right now I just don't feel like Cat Noises can hold on to this, and they're not going to. With Jarrett going down, essentially gets soon to get spammed out. Great job out of Mirman reflecting some of this, but I don't know. With a 30% advantage in the favor of Froyotech, like, I don't see what. Yeah, they're just going to get out here. They can't hold on to this, and they're just going to opt to have Uber advantage and play in third.
Yeah, they actually managed to hold on to that pretty well, given the fact that they lost their entire Uber leaving first and had to wait for their power to come back up again. I was surprised that Froyotech didn't just walk right in with their full Uber advantage and claim as much ground as possible before they managed to get their Uber back, and they had to take a poor push into second, which Cat Noises actually managed to use the extra time to set up and just totally deny that Uber. So yeah, even with the it's looking like just a rather standard time, 3 minutes 42 seconds for 2 points, but I think Cat Noises did a great job holding on to that, given what they had to work with. And we can see Habib finally coming up, pressuring this stairs side, and Garbuglio walking forward, taking as much ground as he can, looking like he's not ready to take that fight against Jarrett quite yet, but Habib, he's ready. They're walking with this Uber. They're taking as much of a fight as possible. Dav actually milking that quite a bit, dropping Spamfest, though, looking like Habib's going to be happy to just shoot that gun down. And that gun goes down. Froyotech players just back out, kite this Uber as they get ready to re-aggress without that sentry gun to protect them. Cat Noise is just getting eaten by both sides as Zilly and Speedy, Zilly just walking around the left side, cleaning up from below. So, clean Uber push.
Yeah, it really was, and Carson's still above. I don't know if they know that. He's going to drop down. Does he get Nursey? He's going to go for it, but he wasn't revved up when he was dropping down, which, I mean, he had to get adjustment, but that's unfortunate. He had a chance to make a play, but only down for 7 seconds. Fortunately, he gets that short respawn wave. Actually, no, he gets extended because that card gets captured there. But they're going to be back up in time to try to defend this. About a 20%, 15% advantage in the favor of Froyotech on offense, but 5 minutes through the first 3 points. That is a very fast time. Here comes in Habib. He's going straight for Daffodil, but doesn't get it. Fanny's going to go down as well, but I mean, that's completely worth it. Yosh is looking down on the lower left-hand side, but Cat Noises has to be careful. You know, the thing that Froyotech did well is they did not allow Froyotech, or they did, the thing that Froyotech did well is they didn't let Cat Noises get set up in that lower left-hand side, so I'm going to be curious to see how Cat Noises plays this, as both teams have been playing a little bit passively here. Jarrett pushing up. He should take down Yosh. They're getting a lot of spam onto him. He's going to be able to get back out, though Zilly will trade out his life. And so 100% in either team's favor. Daffodil coming up here. And we'll see how Froyotech one aggresses. Yosh going for the drop down, fully charged shot, looking for it. I don't think he's been spotted yet, though.
Yosh getting pressured a little bit, too, by... I think that's Carson on scout again, not playing that heavy for that defense, interestingly, just like they did last defense. But you can see Garbuglio and Yosh just making their way over on this lower flank side as they're making as much ground as they can, getting cleaned up by Speedy there. Yosh going down and opening up some space for Fallen Lord, looking like they didn't quite protect their sniper enough. Froyotech having to back out a little bit as Habib comes in. Maybe they want to get set up again, but they're going to have to wait for this push. We can see Zilly getting as much spam as he can over on that gun, over on those combos, playing over in that hallway, but getting denied by the, what's that, the Mirrorman Pyro playing again. So, rotation coming over. Habib and Yosh rotating over to hallway side, looking like they're ready to take this Uber in through this hallway. As Habib's a little forward, they're actually not using, very happy to just hold on to that, and actually forcing the Uber out of Daff early, as Carson comes in trying to force their Uber on the backside, but Froyotech's just going to have a significantly better Uber off the backside of this, and Jared actually getting pushed back, dying in spawn, as now they have free reign to just spam this sentry gun as much as they want without having to deal with the dome man on the post Uber, but they get cleaned up by the wrangled gun, and oh my god, how are they losing this? Froyotech had such a huge advantage coming into this push, but they just seemed like they fed at every crucial moment, not able to get that push out where they should.
Kill the gun. Froyotech, just by the way, if you're wondering what you should focus down in an Uber exchange and stuff like that, kill the gun. Kill the engineer. These are good things to do. Spamfest did a great job surfing out the damage, was able to kind of get back in the gun, but just once again, Froyotech, they just have like nobody focusing down the gun in that situation. Spamfest picking up one more as Garbuglio and Banny currently down right now. The cart's going to even roll backwards. Ash not going to run into the cart, so this is a mistake. And Borneo, you always want to try to keep that cart forward, because especially once you get up to the post and stuff like that, you make it very awkward fights for the defense, because you force them to have to deal with the cart, not just the fight itself. But when it's far back like this, you really have to work it in. So here we go, Cat Noises. They needed to get a miracle defense up here, and they're doing just that. 2 more players down. Yosh and Bannigan taken out there, and that is going to make Nursey retreat once again, as we have even Uber charges, and the cart is rolling all the way back out to main, has not been touched yet.
Yeah, and we can see that Katno is definitely getting that defense they need as they're just playing a lot pretty passively again, almost mirroring the strat for Froyotech, but yeah, Froyotech not able to quite get what they need as they're trying to work in Banny through this far side again, and they're bringing Garbuglio over. What a difficult name to say. Banny rushing in on Speedy, but he walks into the range of a sentry gun, not getting the kill on Speedy, and he pulls back, but now we can see Habib being worked in through that far side as well. Looking like they're about ready to start taking Uber, maybe Uber in from the opposite angle, but Fallen Lord getting a snipe onto Habib, and Zilly going down as well, but Yosh getting the return kill on Jarrett, and with Habib coming up in 6 seconds, they might try to take a push, but I don't think they're going to have quite as much ground to take with it as they'd like. So we're just going to see a bit more of a stalemate here again.
Yeah, it seems like Froyotech, they're kind of, the problem is that they're working their players one by one and pushing together as a team. Here you go, look at this. Full rotation coming out for Froyotech. It's going to be happening. It's going to be happening very shortly here. Here they come up on the right-hand side. Banny leading the charge. Sees the sticky trap. Uber's charge is still not popped off here. They want to try to bait it out if they can, but it finally is going to be focused down. The engineer's going to get flagged. Not going down. Habib jumps down onto the cart. He gets separated from his team. The sentry gun is still alive to be able to defend the Zilly onto the cart. It's currently only 5 players up for the defense. A 1-player advantage here for the defense, but Mirrorman doing a great job bouncing them back. Ash is going to respawn back up here as Jarrett getting forward, trying to get some damage down for his team. Froyotech currently has a 2-player advantage, but can they work off of it? It's going to be hard with that sentry gun still up. Ash so low onto the cart. Somebody just needs to tap him, and he's going to fall over dead. And they're going to do just that. 5v5 fight right now, extended. But here we go, Habib back in the fight. Can they do anything with it?
Looking like both teams now very keen on holding that hallway side, as we can see Mirrorman getting very aggressive, trying to stuff them in that hallway as much as possible, but Yosh getting a good snipe again onto Jarrett as their side of Cat Noise 3 down, and with the basically 2-man advantage now as Carson just comes back up. Looking like Froyotech want to just walk forward and get as much damage as possible with an Uber advantage of nearly a whole 20%. They clean up 6 players down on the side of Cat Noise. They're just getting 3 players on that cart, getting pushed 10 minutes and 16 seconds. They were delayed, but on that last push, they finally came together, and they killed as many as they could and just stood on that cart. Good job, Froyotech.
I mean, ultimately what happened there is that they killed a sentry gun, which is, again, an important... Like, they would have won that easily 2 minutes earlier if they just focused down the sentry gun in the Uber fights. Like, that's generally, like, one of the things that people don't understand with the Wrangler and sentry gun and why it's so powerful. But, like, if the Wrangler didn't exist, the gun would go down instantly anyways. But like during an Uber exchange, you're generally not getting fragged, so you take down the sentry gun. You know, just 2 players focusing it down will almost always take it down pretty cleanly there. But what happened at the end is Habib was able to peek from that far hand side, and he just spammed down the gun for free. Like, nobody was contesting him whatsoever. If anybody had any sort of pressure on Habib, Cat Noises would still be holding on to this point right now. But either way, here we go. Froyotech up on the defense. I said 10-minute time. That is what Cat Noises had to do. This is very doable. Right now, we are in the golden cap, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us out here, Cat Noise is currently the first place team going up against Froyotech, the 3rd week on Borneo. This is a very important match for these 2 teams, as it will almost certainly decide who will finish in the first place and have that first place seed inside of the playoffs. Cat Noise is starting out here on offense. It looks like they're going to be running no spy, no pyro to start off here.
And Banny actually playing really far forward in that scout, looking like he wants to get some info calls, but he gets pressure back pretty quickly as they're just stacking cart time on this early bit, looking like they're not, Cat Noise is not messing around. They want this cart forward. They want that first place seed. And as Carson's walking forward on path, as he gets as much pressure as he can, just slowly edging their way forward, looking like, oh, interesting sentry gun placement actually coming out from Ash as he places it on tracks, looking like he wants to aggressively wrangle on top of them and maybe cover Fallen with it. Fallen getting, oh, did I say Fallen? I meant Yosh. Yosh getting a big snipe on Fallen on cart as they're just working Yosh into wider angles. But Mirrorman on that soldier just getting over on rocks, taking a fight with Banny, but Banny rushing in, getting the kill off of him. Yosh actually getting that kill. And now we can see that Carson just getting clean up on this corner too. Very aggressive positioning from Froyo, just exerting as much control as they can on top of this entire tracks and corner area. And yeah, Cat Noise is looking like they're just not happy with any of this.
Yeah, not having a good first push, that is not great for Cat Noises. They've kind of struggled. I mean, every second they give up here is just working against them. But here we go, Mirrorman getting himself over. Fallen's finally going to get himself in a position, a lot of damage onto his Sentry Gun, but it will be able to be healed back up, though, at a reduced rate, thanks to the Wrangler who comes out the Uber charge. Very, very early on, he was worried about Yosh in that far left-hand side. Nursey finally will pop, but oh my gosh, it is so much better. But what can they do this with this? Habib chasing forward with Banny as well as Zilly over the top. So much damage coming out, but it's actually Zilly going to be the first one down. Everybody from Cat Noise is kited that full Uber charge advantage here for Froyotech. What can they do? Continue on here. Yosh looking down that cart path, hitting the body shot onto Mirrorman, but what else can they do? Spamfest onto the cart. Banny trying to defend this with Habib. Carson so far forward, and here we go. Mirrorman jumping in as well. Speedy getting some more capture time onto it, but they really need to kill Habib so they can capture this cart.
Yeah, and as we can see, Carson just trying to edge his cart forward. Habib's doing his best to just stagger them, but looking like they're ready to start backing out of house at any moment. That gun going up on that box spot in house, just kind of a passive defense, but Spamfest just walking forward at Habib, and Habib, you don't get to hold that card anymore. You're a silly demo man, scared of an engineer. They get that cap, and Carson's ready to just sit on it, and we can see the entirety of Froyo now just walking out of house. Nursey maybe a little hesitant to cross the sight line. What if, yeah, they say Fallen's looking for this shot. He wants it. And Nursey's very, very unhappy. Oh, dear. I just want to sit and watch this because Nursey is not happy as they get pushed by by Jared as they walk in and try to take this fight. But, oh, Garbuglio actually body blocking the retreat of Jared, and they're cleaning this up.
They're doing what they can. Carson behind, and here we go. Bomb in from Mirrorman onto Garbuglio. Should be able to take him out. Doesn't trade out his life, but they have to be careful as Yosh's sightline is looking straight down at this cart. We see Mirrorman pushing up this cart with the times one, not running the pain train to get that extra times onto their Speedy, taking down the teleporter, slowing down Froyotech, so they're not going to be able to play out from Corinth. But this is actually not how Froyotechs typically play this, but it might work out in their favor of forcing them back here. Because they've struggled defending this card path, but Habib's still down. Mirrorman jumping up here. He's getting out so much damage. Froyotech's going to have to give this up. Almost certainly, Habib's going to get back up, but not in time. Here comes in a suicide from Zilly. Almost certainly, he actually still alive, but with only 4 players here for Froyotech, can they hold on? They're trying to. Habib back at the front line. Carson's going to get traded out here. Here comes in Jared on the card. He's going to get this for free. Absolutely. Great job using his position. 6 minutes, 50 seconds left in the clock. They're pushing, they're holding a good time, but can they continue on it? As Jared, oh, he's going back for it. He should be able to take, they're going to get out Habib here. That's a good kill there, 13 seconds, and they're going for Nursey, who's completely alone right now.
Jared bombing in for Nursey, but Nursey actually manages to get out. Jared gets forced back, but that was a huge bomb from Jared, actually. Not onto Nursey, but onto Habib just a little earlier, locking him out so that Habib couldn't get back and connect with Nursey, so that now they just have a full demo man advantage as they sit on top of this garage and hold on to it with their demo and their heavy. But despite the fact this seems like the superior positioning, well, we've seen every single game, the offense team sitting up here, they managed to get forced out pretty early by the defending team playing in yard. So it's interesting to see the fact as this Uber gets forced down, they're backing out all the way, and it looks like Cat Noise is actually going to be able to Froyo is going to be able to come right back in and take control of this garage, but Nursey actually getting forced by an errant Carson walking through the top right, and now they're chasing him out as much as possible with Banny, getting actually a couple kills on this return frag, so just an absolutely hectic Uber exchange, one after the other, and looking like Froyo coming out the top end of it, regaining control over this third point.
One big thing to note is Fanfest currently has Frontier just crits, and he's going to use them onto the person he ran out of them. He only had one apparently. I thought he had more, but here we go. But even Uber exchange, 5 minutes left on the clock here. But I think that forward hold actually, it's kind of like, it's one of those deceptive things where you feel like holding forward is actually a good thing, but honestly, you don't want to hold too forward. Because it's really hard to sustain that hold because of the respawns and the way that defenders work, and that your team's split up due to the cart needing to be pushed up there. And so here we go, Jared, a lot of free space pushing up on this right-hand side, but can they take out the Sentry Gun early on here? Habib's going to finally try to contest this, 100% in the favor of Nursey right now. Daffodil coming up there, going to be able to get it just in time. Habib, though, disconnected. They don't see him. He's going to be able to stay alive here. He should have gone down in the fight, but Nursey could flash him if he wanted to. And they tried to, I don't know what they were going for in that fight, but they had a free kill on Habib, and they did not go for it. And they're really not going to get, I mean, both teams lose 2 players here, but make it that 3. Habib's going forward. He should go down here. Almost, yes, there we go. He's got it. And
that's a trade Habib's willing to take any day, though. Walking forward, getting off Dav, while Nursey stays alive, just being able to build that Uber ad, and yeah, just what a strange Uber in, as they just did not notice Habib. Looked like they might have been able to get a better end of that trade. Cat Noise, if they just turned to the right and maybe focused Habib down a little more, focused Nursey to flash that Uber, but now as a result, Habib stayed alive, walked forward, killed Daff, and now they're going to have to wait another full 40 seconds before they attempt another Uber push,
Carson
and with 4
down.
minutes down.
Oh, he's
What are
going
they doing?
forward.
Carson's going in. He's so
close.
he's
He
so
gets it.
forward.
Oh my goodness, the carnage! It's coming out. He is frigging so much. What a play coming out for Carson. He was holding up on that heart. Like there's this little hanging area that you can hold on. He got revved up and then he just walked off the cliff, dropped down, and killed everybody. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the clock, and Cat Noises is looking poised to go into this final round, taking it in their favor. But Banny straightening out Jarrett just to help out his team. But Daffodil currently sitting at 90%. They need to get that card in position, get the Uber charge out, push the objective, and they are looking very good right now.
Yeah, with full Uber ads sitting on the side of Cat Noises, looking like that maybe they should just wait for Jarrett to get over there and start taking a fight as soon as they can, while Nursey does not have an Uber to respond with, and looking like they're ready to do just that as they work Carson in over the right side. Fallen getting a quick headshot over on Garbuglio as they're forced to back up a bit, and now they're taking this Uber in. Stickies are dead on the side of Habib, but the Super's coming in. Mirrorman's trying to, Banny's trying to force him back, but Banny goes down. Carson's edging his way forward. Garbuglio's dropped. Banny goes down. Habib goes down. 3 players down on the side of Froyotech, and finally Carson going down, but they've got so much cap time, and the victory for Cat Noise. They clutch it back with a mere 7-minute offense, roughly. I didn't get to that, but oh my god, what a power offense, Sigafu.
Wow, what an insane series of wraps there. This is one of the best payloads I've ever seen. So back and forth every single time you see a player like, oh, I think they're gonna win, and then Cat Noises comes down with a clutch. Carson, what an insane play. It seems like they were gonna get stuck. I surely thought Cat Noises' downfall was going to be that 3rd point. But once again, Froyotech, they played a little bit too passive. They gave up that far hand side, allowed Carson to just come up with a madman play. Wow, what a game. And let's take a look at these logs. I'm a little bit speechless right now. Because it's just how utterly great of a series that was.
Yeah, Yosh pulling out with the big stat lines again. Getting 17 kills, top fragging the game again, but Carson actually right behind this time, looking like that power play over in 3rd, actually pulling him up, and then as well as that last push as he got 2 frags in on that final push. So yeah, just despite the fact that Yost pulling in, Carson just clutching it out for that last push, and Fallen Lord actually not severely underperforming this time. He's 13-9 to Yosh's 17-10, so maybe getting back into his groove a little bit on that last round, and definitely with the added Fallen Lord presence, you can tell that it definitely gave them Cat Noise a bit more space to work with when they're not worried nearly as much about the enemy sniper just eating them alive, with Fallen Lord finally coming online. But yeah, just what a strange game to see as well, with Jarrett finally just outclassing Habib's damage. 458 damage per minute on Jarrett to Habib's 377, both of them on equal kills, but with that extra space that Cat Noise managed to clench this game, they just took it all up and soared to victory with it.
I think one really interesting stat line here is that Daffodil had 4 deaths compared to Nursey's only having 1 death in that entire half, which is very impressive for a medic to only die 1 time. Nursey also having twice the amount of assists, but in the end, it didn't really matter, as Daffodil's team was just able to kind of capitalize. And I think his deaths weren't as impactful as Nursey's. And the 1 death that Nursey had there was at the very, very tail end, where Carson made that monster play coming in from behind. I mean, God, how many different highlights can we pull from this game? You could easily have a top 5 plays coming in here from this game alone. But kind of looking at this, I mean, as you said, Carson going up with his team, top frigging Fallen Lord right back in there. And just, I mean, overall, Cat Noise is stepping up when they needed to. Once again, I think Froyotech, again, having, was it 3,000 more damage, 2,500 more damage than Cat Noises, but only with 2 more frags once again. So I think it just comes down to the objective-based gameplay that Cat Noises did really well on here when it came to payload. And I mean, honestly, if this is what a regular season match looks like, bring me the playoffs. I want to see the grand finals now. Like, goddamn, that was fantastic. So I'm looking forward to these teams, but I mean, unless Cat Noises drops rounds to any other teams, they are almost certainly going to finish in 1st place here. But I don't know, any other items in the logs here jumping out at you?
No, you mixed up the kill line. I think Froyotech actually losing out on this damage fight, because yeah, Cat Noise is only getting wait. Maybe I'm getting mixed up in my here, because I thought I heard you say Froyotech got 2.5.
No, they
did.
Damage. I did say that wrong. You're right.
Yeah.
It was Cat Noises who actually was superior this time, and I'm the one who cannot read, but you can. But that is, I mean, still like it's and that's I think the first time this game where that happened, where Cat Noises did have the advantage in terms of damage output. But I think that's also on the back of Yosh not going absolutely insane and just being a human rather than a god.
Yeah, exactly. And we can see stat lines for the heals as well coming out a little more even, you could say, on the side of Cat Noises, as Jared actually finally getting those top heals he needs. 24% to Carson's 23%. It looks like with Jared maybe just dying a lot less, jumping in and feeding less this time. Only 12 deaths to Habib's 11. I say only, but in the first 2 rounds, he was dying close to 20 times a game, maybe 16, 17, something like that. So with having Jared just alive and able to play heals more often, they just managed to walk forward and take so much more ground. And the last thing as well, they're just playing almost the polar opposite of those first two halves, where you could see Cat Noises overcommitting on all their Ubers, overcommitting with their aggression, and then getting cleaned up on the posts. But yeah, this time looking like they're just ready to play with the discipline, the careful aggression that they need in order to clinch this victory. And absolutely, that's what they did, eking out known TF2 Lord Banny and clinching this win over them 2-1 on Borneo.
Yeah, really solid job. And just real quick, guys, if you're just hanging around with us still, if you'd like what we do here over at RGL, don't forget that you can use your Twitch Prime sub with us. Give us a little bit extra money for the prize pool, as well as just helping giving our production people a little bit of extra incentive to be able to hang out with us. So if you like what we're doing here, it is a little bit of a helpful thing if you have that Twitch Prime sub, or if you just want to sub to us either way, feel free to do so. But yeah, just a great game overall. And I don't know if there's much more else to say from that. But it'd be a fun one to go back and like look at and try to just figure out what the hell happened at some of those points, because everything just happened so quickly. It was really kind of hard to decipher, what exactly went down. But congratulations to Cat Noises. I think this is the first regular season loss of Froyotech. Actually, I think this is the first loss Froyotech's ever had inside of RGL. So that's something else to hold to yourself. I think it's only one. I think Banny's only lost like twice instead of RGL Prolander. So it's pretty crazy. It's we'll see what Cat Noises can do. They're looking very good in no restriction sixes. Maybe they have a chance to go for the triple crown of no restriction sixes, Prolander as well as Highlander. But I think with that, we'll kind of let things go. Any shout outs you want to give, Flair?
Yeah, shout out to Brandon, who messaged me in the middle of the cast telling me he's watching me live, because apparently it never happens ever. So Brandon, this one's for you. And shout out again to Dolphin, ever-loving cameraman, I should say. Always behind the scenes, always there for us. We love you, Dolphin. Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, give some love out to chat. If you're a sub, give out some RGLgg blink. Give some blinking dolphins to my boy Dolphin out there. Always doing such a great job. And thank you to the teams. This is one of the best games I've seen in a while. I knew that they would bring it, and they did not. They left everything out on the field. You got to be really proud. Even Froyotech, who lost that game. I mean, really, everybody played their hearts out. Really fantastic game. Congratulations once again to Cat Noises for winning that game. But I think with that, we will leave it there. I love you guys so much. Thank you, everybody, for coming out here and supporting RGL with your viewership. It really does help us out a lot. Anytime you can retweet, give us an upvote on Reddit, whatever you need to do. That kind of helps us out on the social media. It always does really, really mean a lot to us and helps get our name out there a little bit more. So if you like what you're seeing, don't forget to give us a little bit of an update. Give us a follow, subscribe to us on YouTube, whatever you need to do to get a little bit more RGL in your life. Because I think we all agree a little bit more RGL in your life is probably a good thing. So with that, I am Sigafu with Flair to my side, Dolphin behind the scenes. This has been Cat Noises versus Froyotech, and that is it. Thank you so much for coming out here, and have a good rest of your night.
Thank you much, everyone, and have a good night.